Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you? I'm here with Ashlynn Borce, who is a daughter of a military officer.
Hi.
How are you doing, Ashlynn?
I'm good.
That's great. Okay, let's dive right into this. So, you grew up in the military your whole life. Was it specifically in the Army?
Yes, so my dad is a field artillery officer. So my parents had me in high school, and after high school, my dad went to college and he decided to do ROTC. And then when I was 4, he commissioned to the Army. So pretty much all of my life, I've been surrounded by my dad being in the Army, from doing training in ROTC to doing training when he's an officer, and then like with constant deployments and stuff like that.
Okay. So, who else in your family is in the military?
I have one uncle on my dad's side who's in the Navy, and then I have another uncle on my mom's side who was in the Marines. They're both retired now. So on my dad's side of the family, he was the first officer to commission into the Army.
Oh, wow. So, can you tell me what is different about growing up in the military, in a military home and a military base versus a civilian life?
So for the most part, you move around a lot. You are constantly, duty stations last from 2 to 3 years, maybe even 4 years. And you move around to different schools, you need to make different friends, and you just need to learn how to be flexible. And as a child, at first, it's like kind of normal, and at first, sometimes it's hard for you to understand. But,
Oh no.
Hopefully you can edit that out. Oh, it's still running. We're good. Okay. Anyway, so as a child, it's sometimes hard to understand, but then as you grow up, it kind of like helps with your flexibility and being able to be more social and just kind of being able to adapt to the different environments you're in.
Okay. So, what was like the best experiences that you've had about growing up on a military base?
There's so many people around you when you live on a base. Like there's a whole idea of a community, and everyone's there to like help each other and support each other. So like I have a lot of neighbors that I've like have babysat for, and like people, like neighbors who I've looked up to, just who've like always been there. Like say if my dad wasn't home, sometimes they would like make sure they check on us and like cook dinner for us sometimes. Okay. And I also had like a lot of close friends who lived close by, and it was kind of nice because when you grow up in a military family, you all in a way are kind of raised with the same morals. So you have friends that think the same way that you do and are raised the same way as you do.
That's really cool.
And they're both goal driven. So
what's like the most difficult thing about growing up in this military lifestyle?
The most difficult thing I think would be learning how to kind of be flexible and understanding why, like little things like why you need to move and why your dad's gone all the time. Like, for me it was pretty easy for me to be like, oh yeah, okay, dad's gone. Like it didn't really like hit me until like I was older and could understand it. But sometimes it sucks when like you're a senior and it's like your soccer season, your dad's not there. So the thing that's the hardest is not having your parents around, and being able to not be able to just kind of stay in the same spot and stay in the same high school. You constantly need to make a name for yourself when you move around.
Okay, but that probably makes you a lot stronger in a way.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So then, have you ever wished that you had a more like civilian childhood?
No, not really. I think having a military childhood, it's taught me a lot, and it's really prepared me for what I want to do in my career, which is also be an Army officer. And like it's taught me how to be flexible. It's taught me how to really rely on my family and make sure that me and brothers and sisters are very close. It has made me a better person and have a better understanding of what my dad has sacrificed for us and what a parent in general sacrifices for their kids. So
Okay.
I wouldn't take back any of the experience I had as a child.
So, like, overall, you'd say that growing up in the military lifestyle has been positive.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So, like, do you have any stories or anything that like would summarize what it's like to be grow up on a base, or like a day in the life of Ashlynn Borce?
So living on a base, I liked. One thing was you always were able to walk around and just kind of feel safe everywhere. So like we would, my brother who was probably like in kindergarten would walk to school by himself, and that's just one thing. So like the first thing we would like wake up, we'd just be able to like get up on our own. My mom would be already at work. We would just walk to the bus stop, and then we would finally just like go to school and then come back, and we would just play on the street all day long. And that's a nice thing because you're housed next to people who are the same age as you.
Mm-hmm.
So like in the military base, like all the majors are all the same rank. They all live next to you, so you have a lot of kids your own age to hang out with, and so you just kind of like go to school, get on the bus, go to school, come back from practice or whatever, and then just play outside some more. So
Like a community.
yeah, so it's more community based.
Okay, yeah, that's really cool. That's a lot different from civilian life where you kind of have to make the community rather than having it be at your doorstep.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So now you're in ROTC, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Here at Syracuse Army?
Yes.
Yes. So do you're probably going to have a similar lifestyle to growing up the way you did. Well, obviously you'll be the adult this time, but
yeah,
it'll be like similar. So do you think you're going to raise your children similar to how you were raised?
I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of leaning towards not saying that I didn't like my childhood. I just it's different when your dad's in the army and the like husband is in the army to where like the wife is in the army.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm a true believer in that. Like when I have kids, I should be able to like be there and like as a mom like be there and take care of my children. Not saying that you can't do that when you're in the army, but so I don't know if I want to have kids while I'm in the army and raise them that way. But I definitely want to instill like the values that the army like kind of focuses on and the values that my dad and my parents have instilled on.
So like what kind of values were you raised on?
Just like a good work ethic and always putting forth good effort, like being honest, being like loyal and like doing what you need to do. So little things like that, and like always striving for excellence in a way. Mm-hmm. So I'll instill that into my kids, but I don't know if I want to like technically raise my kids in where I'm gone all the time. Not saying that I mean like sometimes it did suck that my dad was gone all the time, but I don't know if I want to have to deal with that.
So what about like in regards to moving around a lot? Are you for that or?
Moving around didn't bother me at all. Like, when my first big move was when I moved from Hawaii to New York, and that was a big move for me because all my family is in Hawaii. But after that, like after I moved, when I was in New York and I moved to Fort Drum, like I was really excited to go to a different high school and have new friends. But like, so like if I had to have a family and have them move around, I wouldn't mind that. It's just the fact of like the only thing I didn't like was my dad was always gone. So like my dad went on like multiple deployments, one after another, and like I don't know if I wanna do that.
Yeah, the family dynamic was different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then through like all of your experiences, like with your dad being gone, just moving around, and just like living in a tight-knit community, do you think that's helped you grow as a person?
Yeah, I think it's helped me grow a lot. Like it's taught me different like characteristics and different like skill sets that will help me in my career and in life in general. So yeah, I think it helps.
Okay. And so, what like words would you use to describe you as like your personality from the viewpoint of like how you grew up?
I'm hardworking. I'm very goal oriented, so I like to do things for a purpose. I don't like to just go class to go to class. Like I'm going to this class to overall reach my goal of something, or just so that's like kind of how I am. I'm honest in a way that I try to do everything to the best I can and not like cheat when I do it or something like that.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I think the biggest one would be hardworking and I put forth an effort. Not saying, sometimes, yeah, okay, we're humans and we suck off and we do things like that. But, like, for the most part, when things didn't get done, I get them done. And sometimes I do also think because I was raised in a military family and I am the oldest, I kind of have, like, in a way, natural leadership skills that just, like stuff like that I didn't really need to have to work at.
So that's like a really good thing, and then that will help you further in your career, not only with your military career that you're planning on having, but just as a good life skill.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say that your personality was like greatly shaped by the military, but I'm sure there's other things like sports that you've done or just like your mom and everything that's helped shape you to the person you are today.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Ashlynn. I think we all learned so much about what it's like to grow up in the military and how it can really positively shape your life. So thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.